very athletic. His testing was off the charts. On the ice, he's physical. He scores goals. He has good hands. So, it's really hard to find a player that can be a potential power forward in the National Hockey League, and he has a lot of those attributes. And we'll see how he develops. But he's going to a good program at Boston College, and I'm not sure if you guys have had a chance to speak with him, but he has lots of energy. Certainly lots of juice to him, both on and off the ice.
Do you guys see him as a center? I know he's going to play center at Boston College. He played wing for the U.S. National Team Development Program. Are you guys drafting him assuming that he will develop and be a center in the NHL?
That's certainly our hope. He can play both positions. We feel he plays well at center, and I know Boston College intends to use him that way next year. So we'll let the process play out, but he's a young man that can play both positions. Yeah, I mean, we had him very high on our list, but clearly there were some top players that went before us, and there were some very good players that went after us too. It's a relatively flat draft. I think I've said that before, but there's still some really good players getting drafted right now. But we're really happy with Cutter. We like the position versatility and the fact, size, strength, skill, all those attributes. And, I think he has a chance to be a pretty good player.
Chuck, you've long said that the team needs to become harder to play against. As you know, how does Cutter's skill set lend itself to that aspiration for the team long term?
Yeah, well, he skates well. Again, he can hit, he works, but he's a big man that can control the puck down low in the offensive zone and hold on to the puck. He can hold off defenders with the size and strength. So I think he allows you to play a puck possession type of game. And but he's, again, the size, the physicality. He's somebody that played power play, played penalty kill. Was really used in all situations on an excellent under-18 team. So there's certainly a lot to work with there.
When we talked to you back before, you said the expectation for how soon they can contribute really depends on the player. He said he'd like to get here as soon as possible, obviously. What are kind of your thoughts now that you have your player?
I'll be going to Boston College next year. And we'll go from there. But, there's no rush for us. He has some physical attributes. Maybe you could put him on the team and see what he could do, but I think he's best served by climbing another step. Even though that under-18 team play a lot of college programs, to play a full year of hockey, collegiately. While you're in college, you have to balance studies with hockey and working out. So I think it's a great opportunity for him to mature on and off the ice and hopefully compete for a World Junior spot next December.
Chuck, Cutter was one of those late risers. Other than what you already said, his size, his skill, what was the attributes that you guys saw that made him rise to you guys so well?
Yeah, I think he rose on most teams' lists, but he had a good two seasons ago. He played well too. I don't know if I can answer that. Maybe Brent can answer that better. But watching him play for me, he was a pretty good player all year. Maybe it took us a little bit of time to recognize that. But I got to see him play some games at center, on the wing, and he played well throughout the year. And so I'll let Brent answer that tomorrow when you guys get him.
Chuck, with this pick, how important was it for you to get a guy with what you perceive to be a very high ceiling? Obviously, he's a guy who in the scouting community is generally viewed as, if he hits, he could be a real top of the lineup guy. Not to say other guys in this range weren't, but his upside is generally viewed to be extremely high. Was that a key part of making this pick and why you targeted him?
Yeah, absolutely. It was an upside. It's an upside play. And again, I think he's a good player. And, everybody has a backup game, I guess you would call it. But he certainly has upside. The way he shoots the puck, the way he drives with the puck. Again, size, strength. He brings so many attributes that every team could use more of, including ours. So, but he's extremely athletic. His test results in the combine were impressive, and he still feels he can get stronger. So he's a better judge of that than we are. But he works hard and pretty relentless kid. Pretty impressive the level of maturity he's showing now. So, it's exciting to see where he can get to.
You mentioned his upside. What elements of his game need to become more polished in order for him to be an effective NHL player?
Well, usually for young players, it's just consistency. Getting, again, I think he was fairly consistent for his age group, but as you climb the ladder, the best players bring it every night, or at least have a small drop off from game to game at worst. So consistency will be one thing. Again, it's just going to be doing it against bigger, stronger, faster players, but he could probably improve everything. But, in his age group, he's pretty top end in most areas.
Chuck, he also mentioned Mark Scheifele and Pierre-Luc Dubois as kind of models on his games. That's elements of those players that you see in him as well? Like, not saying he's going to project that way, but as elements of his game that, like those two players.
Yeah, for sure. Even little parts of Jeff Carter at times. They're a little bit different players, but kind of those big centermen that can come to the middle of the ice with the puck. And again, if he ends up playing on the wing, he can hammer the puck off the wing and drive the net. So he's just that big, again, a big power forward. And, some differences with Scheifele, but some similarities to Dubois, those types of players. But he'll be interesting to see where he can get to, because again, his athleticism is off the charts. So it'll be interesting to see if there's even another level of speed and strength and everything that he can attain at Boston College.
Chuck, one thing that I noticed even just talking to him a few minutes ago is just that he seems like a very confident kid. Is that something that you guys read for him as well in talking to him in interviews and whatnot?
Yeah, confident, again, energetic, personable, showed a lot of compassion for his teammates, talked about his teammates in a real positive fashion. So confident, but yet I think the team orientation is really strong. And it's coming out of Arizona, climbing the ranks through Michigan into the program. So he's had to move a bit, make a lot of different clubs, and to his credit, he's found a way to continue to get better, and I'm sure that does instill a little bit of confidence in him.
When asked what his most least talked about quality that he had was, he said his compete. What did you see from him on that front when you watched him play?
Yeah, just strong work ethic, willing to play physically. When he played, when the under-18 team played against colleges, he didn't back down physically. He was still making contact, taking contact. So, I agree. I think he is a very competitive player and a very driven player. Yeah, certainly we'll look at that if there's opportunities. We have a very early third-round pick, so I think we're pretty confident that somebody we like and that possibly would take in the second round would follow that spot. So I think we're comfortable with where we're picking, but you're always looking for those opportunities.
I know you're not going to obviously give specifics, but are you envisioning being involved tomorrow in the trade market? How's that market kind of shaping up right now?
Well, there's been a lot of dialogue. I can tell you that. We'll see. There's, potentially something could happen tomorrow, and I could also see things happening later on in the week, closer to the start of free agency.
You took Tyson Forrester early a few years ago. You take Cutter Gauthier early tonight. Are you making a concerted effort to take a shoot first guy early in the draft, or is that just kind of best player available when it falls?
Well, we've certainly been looking for forwards with offensive upside, and again, they're a little bit different players, but again, they both have good size. Cutter's probably a little better skater than Tyson at the same age, but they're both competitive, high hockey sense players. They can shoot the puck and are willing to work hard. So, I think we always want skill, but preferably if we can get skill in a little bigger package, that's a good thing too.